If you've been in the TTRPG space for long enough, you will probably hear someone call D&D a collaborative storytelling game, which I feel like isn't exactly true. I think D&D has great potential as a game for telling stories, but I don't think that's what the game is. D&D's purpose is not to be a storytelling game. It's not packaged as a storytelling game. Yes, you're collaborating with others, and you might tell a story, but that's not what it was designed to do. D&D is kind of like Canada Dry. Some people think ginger ale is medicine, and it's great to have when you're sick. It helps you feel better, and some might even say it's literally medicine. However, the people who make Canada Dry make sodas. Canada Dry is marketed as a soda. If you look in the soda aisles at a grocery store, you're going to find Canada Dry because Canada Dry is a soda. It's not medicine. Even though people use it as a medicine, Canada Dry is not a pharmaceutical. D&D is built on war games. That's a fact. The person who made D&D was basing it off of his favorite war games. All of the classes that we still use to this day, all the equipment comes from war games. The idea that D&D is the storytelling game is a very new concept, and it's something that it isn't designed to do. However, due to these online spaces, we can tell that people really want a collaborative storytelling game. They like the storytelling elements of D&D. They want more storytelling elements. In fact, you could probably go online, find a lot of videos, tips on how to make your games more cinematic. People want to make their games more cinematic. They want to feel like they are in a movie. D&D is not designed to do that. So here's my pitch. The pitch is a TTRPG that feels like D&D, but it's structured around telling a story. Yes, there are a lot of TTRPGs that are narrative-based, but this TTRPG is going to be different. This TTRPG is going to be structured around storytelling. The mechanics are going to look something along the lines of this. This is what I'm thinking for the level progression system. Instead of XP or plot points or whatever, a level progression is going to be based off of the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell. Now, it's debated how applicable the hero's journey model really is, but it's a model that is being used by writers and screenwriters all over the world, making all the kind of stuff that you're ingesting. And this model of all the different steps that you have to get to in order to grow and change can easily be turned into a model of steps you have to reach in order to level up. It's like a marriage between the mechanics of D&D and the structures of writing. And the result will be, hopefully, when you're playing the game, it feels like you're playing a game of D&D, but you're unintentionally telling a story. The storytelling is completely natural. It's not going to feel like you're in a writer's room coming up with good ideas. No, you're going to be in-game just playing a normal role-playing game, but then outside of the game, you're going to look back on it and you're going to go, wow, we told a whole story. That brings me to the different archetypes. This is mostly what I have figured out so far for the TTRPG. I've just started working on it. It's been something I've been cooking up, and one of the main things about it is going to be the archetypes, which is my version of the classes. The first of them is the creator. This is, you can't really see these guys. This is Hero from Big Hero 6. This is Doc Brown from Back to the Future. This is Tony Stark. Can you tell that that's Tony Stark? The creator archetype is someone who is a motivated creator. They make things, they create things. Mostly devices, structures, they could be an artist. This is kind of the artificer equivalent, to use D&D as an example. I'm going to be using D&D as an example just so you can get a clear picture as to what I'm going for here. But they're going to be its own thing. It's going to be different. This isn't just 5e. I promise it's not 5e. I'm just using 5e to help us communicate, to facilitate the communication. This creator archetype is going to be similar to the artificer in a way where its abilities come from the things that it creates. It will have devices, doohickeys that will have powers, and whenever they level up, they're going to upgrade their devices. So instead of the character leveling up, it's going to be leveling up their contraptions. Next is the everyman archetype. This is just a relatable person that you'd see on the street walking around that have been thrusted into this crazy adventure. For the examples here, we have Sarah Connor from the first Terminator, not the second Terminator, first Terminator Sarah Connor. She's an everyman. We got John McClane from Die Hard, and we also got Bilbo Baggins from Star Wars. These are just everyday, regular people who find themselves in a wild, fantastic journey. Their abilities are going to be based off of adapting, finding out-of-the-box solutions, and pure luck. In D&D, you don't really have the ability to play a normal person. You have to be some kind of extraordinary human. In this, you're able to just be a normal person. This is kind of just the default human. Up next is is the explorer. This character is just naturally driven to discover, to sort of push the boundaries. We got Sherlock Holmes, who's kind of getting cut off. His face is even messed up more than Benedict Cumberbatch's normal face. And then we also got Indiana Jones, not Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones, he's also an explorer. And then we also got Rey Skywalker. These people kind of go off into the frontier and discover new things. This class is going to be based off of discovery, investigation, finding new things. After that is the Guardian. The Guardian is going to be an interesting character. This is very similar to the Cleric, where it kind of buffs and heals. The Guardian as a character is someone who kind of watches out for the other characters. They support others, make sacrifices on their behalf. It's Hagrid, Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, and then we also got Obi-Wan. It's kind of hard to tell that that's Obi-Wan, but I promise that's Obi-Wan. The role they play in an adventuring party is to be kind of like the bodyguards, like the sentinels. They're going to have some healing, they're going to have some buffs, they're mostly just going to be like the shield in front of everyone else. People who like to play support, this is going to be your archetype. Next is the hero archetype. The hero is kind of like if you took the devotion of a paladin, the resiliency of a barbarian, and the personality of a fighter all into one class. For the examples, we have Wonder Woman, we got Luke Skywalker, and we also got Aragorn from Star Wars, and these are all characters who their skills come from resiliency and overcoming the odds. They get knocked on their ass and they get right back up. That's what their class is all about. If I had to find a D&D equivalent to what I imagine their abilities are going to be like, I would say that when they're knocked to 0 hit points, while they're making death saves, they can still take actions. That's how I imagine the hero's archetype coming through in like a D&D sense. Up next is the Innocent. Okay, this kind of leads me here. I'll give you the examples, but I'm really excited about this one. We got Barbie. We got what I think her name is Lilo from the Star Wars, and then there's Pippin from Lord of the Rings. This character is all about moral purity. Their intentions are only good always. They're head empty, no thought in head, but their intentions are good. Not only do the archetypes define what your abilities are, but it also defines how you are seen by other people and other characters in the story. I want to highlight that with the Innocent because I think it would be really interesting to have a class where people just believe what you say. Not like you're lying, they just always think you have good intentions. Just a trustworthy, pleasant person to be around. Up next is the Lover. The Lover, this is like a romantic character. Their motivations come from caring for others and making connections with other people. We got Rogue from X-Men, we got Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and we got Wesley from Star Wars, and these are all characters who are driven by their connections with others. Their power comes from that determination to make connections and to care for the people around them. I feel like this is how the Bard was intended to be. But now we get to see how the Bard actually is. This character is the Jester. I'm really excited about this character. For the examples, we got Harlequin, we got C-3PO and R2-D2, and we also got Austin Powers from Star Wars. Normally in the stories, the Jesters are going to be comedic relief. I don't think there should be pressure to be funny at the table, but the idea is you say some out-of-pocket stuff and it's actually respected and valued by the people around you. That's a crazy superpower, I know. But the idea for this character is that they're going to be disarming. They're going to be witty, they're glib, they hit you with the humor, and then they're just disarmed. Think of the cantrip Vicious Mockery as a class. Perfect for the player who likes to be comedic, perfect with someone who has like an idea for a joke character, but they don't want to like ruin the party. This takes the idea of a joke character and turns it into something that's actually useful for the party. Also, back to like the Innocent, where the archetype defines how people see you, I think it'd be really neat to have the Jester character be able to say things out of pocket, comedic, insulting, offensive, not offensive like politically offensive, but like personally offensive, and then that not like creating conflict. They can just say things that are weird and crazy, and that's just accepted by everyone around them. Like, we've all wanted to say something really weird, but worried about how people would consider that weird thing. But with the Jester, you can just say those things. In character, I mean. You can say whatever you want out of character, but for the Jester, it's also in character. Next up is the Magician. This Magician is a powerful figure who can harness the ways of the universe. For the examples, we got Doctor Strange range, he's kind of cut off. This projector isn't really good. This projector was really cheap. We have Anakin Skywalker here from the Star Wars movies, and we also got Hermie Gurney from Herb Herder. And these characters are all about finding the power within the mystical. The equivalent would probably be like sorcerers and warlocks, just pure, raw, unfiltered power that they don't have much control over. Normally, this power is in order to achieve some sort of goal, like fixing your hand, fixing your wife, fixing only child syndrome. I imagine the warlock and the sorcerer are going to be very similar to this class. I don't have a magic system idea yet, but whatever the magic system is going to be, these people are going to be the best ones if you want to do a lot with the magic system. Next up is the outlaw. This is going to be the rogue equivalent. I'll give you the examples. This is Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of cut off. This is Han Solo from Solo, and then this is Katniss Everdeen from Star Wars. These people are all about living outside of the societal conventions. They're skilled, stealthy, versatile, normally just in it for themselves. They're the rebel, the anti-hero. I think every party has a place for this kind of character. This is perfect for the bad boy. You want to be a bad boy? You can play this archetype, but only for bad boys. Up next is the ruler. Okay. I'm really excited about this class because there isn't really a D&D alternative with this class. I'll give you the examples here. We got Nick Fury from the Marvels. This is Leia Organa. She's kind of getting cut off by Gustavo Fring, but this is specifically Leia in the Star Wars sequels when she's in control of the rebellion. And we also got Gustavo Fring from Star Wars. They are not going to have any special powers or abilities. Their abilities are going to come from the organizations that they have control over. Their power doesn't come from themselves. Their power comes from their influence and their command over people and resources. They're going to most likely, instead of having special abilities, they'll have minions. They'll have money to spend. I haven't seen this kind of character in any other TTRPG. Unless the RPG is about domain management, you don't really see this kind of character, but I feel like it has a place in storytelling to be in charge of some kind of organization, which is why I'm really excited about finding a way to make this class work. The last one is the Sage. The Sage is kind of a wise figure. They got all the knowledge. They're the big brains. For example, we got Morpheus from The Matrix. He's in here. We got Yoda. Yoda's here. And then there's Professor X from X-Men Star Wars. And the Sage, they got all the knowledge. They got the biggest brain. They know all the stuff. They're going to be similar to the Wizard, but just think like the Wizard without all the damage. So all the good parts about Wizard. I think a party with the Sage around is going to be able to maybe level up quicker, or maybe they'll be able to boost their abilities more. The idea of the Sage is they got a lot of knowledge, they got big brain, they share that knowledge with everyone else, and that makes everyone else stronger. They got the smarts, and that makes you more smarts. That's all the classes, but what about multi-classing? I don't have a combat system yet, but I do have multi-classing. Let me show you what the multi-classing idea I have is. This, okay, we're back to this, the hero's journey thing. I think the hero's journey is going to serve a mechanical influence over the game. If you're playing the game, it's assumed you're in a journey, journey with a capital J. This one big loop is an adventure that you are on. And once you finish this loop, you'll be able to either dip into another class or change classes. The hero's journey is all about growth, death, resurrection, and change. And what better way to represent change than picking a new class or changing your class entirely? So once you finish one of these little circle dudes, then you'll be able to change or find a new class for your character. Think of it like how Captain America was originally a good guy in the Avengers, and he was the hero archetype, but then after the Sokovia Accords and Civil War, he was like, I'm out, I'm going to become an outlaw, and then I'm going to be Nomad Captain America. After the adventure, he went through a change, and then he changed his archetype. We have some things to add, like ability scores. I don't have ability scores yet. It's probably not going to be strength, dex, con. It's going to have to be something different. We need a combat system. I don't think I want the combat system to be a round by round thing. I'm going to have to figure it out soon, but less crunchy combat, more focused on just action and doing cool moves. We need class features for everyone. We need skills and abilities and how to get those skills, how to get those abilities. We also need a magic system because a lot of these characters have something to do with magic changing, so we need to figure out what a balanced way to do magic in this system would be. Also, there is kind of a diversity problem. If you were to watch back all the examples for the characters that I've had, very few people of color, very few women, most of them just white men. And that really sucks because the TTRPG should be accessible for everyone. And so there is some discrimination that is caked into movies and storytelling. So I'm going to have to put in the work and find some people to help me out with this and to kind of undo a lot of the discrimination that is in this pot. I hope all this sounds interesting to you. If it isn't, I'm probably just going to work on this and not make videos about it. But if this is something you're interested in, I'll continue to make video updates. This is like a devlog series that I'm starting. This is all my patrons, by the way. These are people who fund this nonsense. Patreon is the best way to support me while I'm doing this, if you think I deserve the support. If you don't want to support me that much but still want to, you should like the video and watch another video. That the best possible way to support me without like physically giving me money would be to just watch another video. Or you could be like a mega chad here who supports me. Or you could join the coven of trans women who make sure my channel doesn't fail. You ladies are great. You keep doing what you're doing. That's the end of the video. Leave a like the video. Let me know if you want more updates or if I should do like a playtest. If you'd be interested in a playtest, leave comment if you'd be interested in a playtest. That's it from me. This is Dice Brain signing out. I bought a projector for this.